Thank you, Frank. Dwight Zimmerman. Well, unlike most of you, I've never been in the military. My father was from World War II. He served in the 7th Army. And we do have a little family anecdote about the time that he met General Patton. So my dad, minding his own business, he was a clerk. And he was sitting at a table. General storms in. My father's back is to him. And General Patton decided he was going to introduce himself to my father. So he storms up and kicks the chair out from under him. Thus my father met his commanding general. He didn't like him. Not one bit. Well, that said, I wound up writing about General Patton and a lot of generals. I've been very moved by the stories that I've heard from veterans here. Obviously, I can't tell that kind of story, and I don't even try. But what I try to do is tell the story of men at war, and now women at war, to a new generation of kids. My publishing background is wide, and it's very eclectic. I started out in comics and learned how to write to kids. Many years passed, and then I wound up going into military history, leaving aside the long and winding road there. And what I discovered when I got into the military history field and started working in the young adult market was the dearth of knowledge that existed. Not just in the schools, by the teachers, but with the editors and publishers. For those of you who don't know, I live in New York City. I was born and raised in North Dakota, small town, 7,000 people. Oh, where?
Minnesota. Well, we were Bismarck. Fargo.
Bismarck.
Fargo.
Devil's Lake. We'll talk later. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You know?
You betcha.
Lutefisk?
No thanks.
Let's not. Yes. Okay, well, now what, I wasted a minute there? Anyway, the point being, I got to New York City, and quite frankly, it was a very, well, leaving aside just living in New York City being a big education, an education in dealing with the major publishers. Because I deal with, a lot with the big houses over the years, both as a writer and as an editor. And I would encounter so many people, apologies to the women here, but unfortunately too many of the women working in military history had a liberal arts background and had no interest in telling a story of military history. Why? Because, well, people got killed. Well, war is bad. You know, well, yes. But for better or worse, sadly, or however you want to phrase it, the history of mankind is the history of war. There has not been a single century, and I would even go so far as to say a single decade of recorded history that has gone without a conflict of one sort or another. Civil, international, call it what you will. We've always been in an armed conflict of one form or another. Some have changed the world, some have simply changed neighborhoods, but there's been fighting. And it's important for us to constantly tell the next generation what's been going on and why. And maybe at one point, eventually, not in my lifetime, maybe not even my kids' lifetime or my grandkids' lifetime, but we have been moving closer and closer toward a better understanding of why we have been fighting and trying in our ineffective way, our grasping, our groping, to at least reach peaceful accommodation with each other. Now, for all the faults that the United Nations have, which it does, at least it is a testament to that ultimate goal that we have of peace. When it will happen, who knows? But, you know, that said, my whole effort is to try and take these stories, you know, from you, from other parts of history, to explain, to try and simplify the story without distortion, to also make it interesting, to pull the aspects of it, to humanize, to give a connection, so that somehow we can, kids can understand what happened during the time of Washington, what happened during the 100 Years' War, and why it still does affect us. World War II. Right now, I just finished a manuscript of the Medal of Honor recipients for Afghanistan and Iraq. And there was a very, very moving thing. Sorry. I cry a lot. I'm standing there, or sitting there in front of my computer, and I'm going through some of these passages. And no, I've never been there. And I thank God I've never been there. With the bravery of these people, the sacrifice. And it's such a simple motion. A young man, a teenager, the grenade dropped down, 3 other guys in the Humvee with him, and he jammed his back against it. And he knew he was going to die. No, I wasn't there, but in one sense I was. That's it. Sorry.